If Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee came out, they were the first in-series Pokemon games that didn't have every existing Pokemon programmed into the game. Pokemon Sword and Shield, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus followed this pattern as well, meaning that Generation 8 is the first generation that excluded existing Pokemon from each of its games. While this was controversial when Sword and Shield released, Game Freak promised that the unavailable Pokemon would return in future games. Over time, more and more Pokemon became available when DLC and other core series games came out. Now that Gen 8 ended a few years ago, and Scarlet and Violet are starting to wind down, let's take a look at how many Pokemon are truly unavailable between all 5 Generation 8 games. First, an important definition. When we say available, we mean coded into the game and can be transferred into it through Pokemon Home, trading, or forbidden magic from beyond. By contrast, when we say a Pokemon is unavailable, we mean that it's not even coded into the game. For example, Pikachu wasn't catchable in Pokemon Black and White, but it was available because it's coded into the game and can be transferred into it. Meanwhile, Miraidon is unavailable in Gen 5 because it's not even programmed into any of the Gen 5 games. Take a moment right now to comment your guesses for 1. How many Pokemon are unavailable in Gen 8? And 2. Which Pokemon you think were excluded? For reference, there are 905 Pokemon as of the last Generation 8 game, so let's see how close your guesses are. Since Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are remakes of Diamond and Pearl, they feature every Pokemon available from the first 4 generations. That would also mean that every Pokemon that debuted in Red and Blue, Gold and Silver, and Ruby and Sapphire are also available, right? Technically yes, but no. There are 7 Pokemon from Gen 1 that are unavailable in all Gen 8 games, and all of them happen to be regional forms. These Pokemon are the Alolan forms of Rattata, Raticate, Geodude, Graveler, Golem, Grimer, and Muck. While I would have liked to use Alolan Golem and Galar, I don't think anyone's too upset about Alolan Muck. I mean, look at it. Besides these 7 Kanto Pokemon, every Pokemon from the first 4 generations are available for you to use, meaning we can skip straight to Generation 5. The next set debuted in Pokemon Black and White, including our first set of unavailable starters. Notably, Oshawott was a starter in Legends Arceus, meaning it and its evolutions were the only Gen 5 starters available in Gen 8. Sort of. You might be surprised to hear that its final evolution, Samurott, is actually unavailable as well. But that doesn't make sense. Both Oshawott and Dewott are available and obtainable in the game, so why isn't Samurott? It seems weird at first glance, but it's because of a quirk with Pokemon Legends Arceus. The only Pokemon available in this game are the ones you can obtain in this game, and that includes regional forms. This means if you try to put a regular Typhlosion in the game through Pokemon Home, you'll see that it can't be added, while Hisuian Typhlosion can. Since all 3 of the starters in Legends Arceus have a regional form evolution, only Hisuian Samurott is available in Generation 8, and the original Samurott is completely unavailable. Small spoiler alert here, Samurott is the only Pokemon on the list that's unavailable in Gen 8, while its evolutions are available, which is pretty interesting. As we continue on through the unavailable Pokemon from Gen 5, you'll see that Patrat, Watchog, and all the elemental monkeys are on the list. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot they existed. I'm usually pretty good with Pokemon names through Gen 6, but I couldn't remember Panpour or Simipour to save my life, even though I remembered the other ones once I saw their picture. The rest of the Gen 5 Pokedex is a mixed bag. We have Blitzel, Sewaddle, Ducklet, Deerling, Tynamo, and all their evolutions. Then 2 standalone Pokemon. The one that looks like Lubdisk, and Meloetta. I'm not too surprised about Deerling and Sawsbuck because of their seasonal mechanic, but I was surprised when I saw that Meloetta wasn't available. When the Crown Tundra DLC came out, I could have sworn that every legendary became available with it, but I guess I was wrong. That also makes it the first legendary that's unavailable in Gen 8. This means 29 Pokemon from Gen 5 are unavailable. Now it's time for Kalos, which debuted with Pokemon X and Y. Sadly, every single starter and their evolutions are unavailable this time around. No separations from their evolutions either. That even includes fan favorite Greninja, unless you account for its appearance in everyone's favorite Pokemon game, Super Smash Bros. The rest of Gen 6 mostly is Pokemon that have a variety of forms. You'll see Vivillon and its 10,000 forms, Pyroar and its gender difference, Flabebe and its evolution's flower form, and Furfrou with its dozens of haircuts. All of them are unavailable. Strangely enough, that also includes Hoopa, which only has one other form. It's the second legendary in this list. They're both event Pokemon, and they both have alternate forms, and I don't think that's a coincidence. Kalos ends up with 21 Pokemon unavailable in Gen 8. I'm personally most upset about Skiddo and Go-Go because, well, look at them. They just want to be your friend. Please let them be your friend. They will be your best friend. Forever. Anyway, that brings us to the last generation, 7, which debuted with Pokemon Sun and Moon. Thankfully, all of the starters are available this time. Yungoos and Gumshoos are on the list, but no one's too upset they're gone. We finish out the list with only a few more Alolan Pokemon, including 2 more with a bunch of form variations, Minior and Oricorio. I honestly didn't notice that Pokemon with multiple forms were prominent on the list until I started writing the script, and I'm pretty sure the form variations influenced the decision to exclude these Pokemon in one way or another. That brings Alola's total to 11, which is the lowest one if you exclude Kanto's regional forms. So in total, 68 out of all 905 Pokemon are completely unavailable in the Generation 8 games. 8 of these are regional forms, so if you don't include those, that makes only 60. That accounts for less than 7% of all Pokemon that existed before Scarlet and Violet, and that's pretty reassuring. But here's the real question. How many of these 68 Pokemon are available in Gen 9? At the time of recording, Scarlet and Violet have been out for a while, including their DLC for the Teal Mask and Indigo Disc, but Pokemon Legends ZA isn't out just yet. So, take a guess right now. How many of them do you think made it back into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Ready? Out of the 68 Pokemon removed from Gen 8, the Pokemon that have not returned yet are Alolan Rattata, Alolan Raticate, Patrat, Watchog, the Elemental Monkeys and their evolutions, and Furfrou. That means at least 57 Pokemon actually returned within one generation, and that also gives us a total of 11 Pokemon that have not returned to Gen 9. However, Gen 9 isn't over yet, and there's a solid chance they'll all come back in Legends ZA. Let me know if you were surprised by any of the Pokemon here, or if there's any I missed. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.